Hello, Urban Saints. This is the second part of the story about Joseph. One morning, one of the other prisoners said, "I had a dream last night. A strange dream. I dreamed I saw a grapevine with 3 branches. Suddenly, bunches of grapes burst out of those branches. So I squeezed them into a cup and gave it to the king to drink. I wonder what it means." Joseph listened to the dream. God listened too. Then he whispered the dream's meaning into Joseph's ear. "I know what it means," said Joseph. "Before you were sent to prison, you served wine to the king. Well, in 3 days, you will be set free and serve him wine once more." That's exactly what happened. And when the wine server was set free, he promised to help Joseph get out too. 2 long years went by. Then, one morning, the king of Egypt said, "I had a dream last night, a strange dream, and I can't work out what it means." "A dream?" said his wine server. "I know a man who can tell you all about dreams." And straight away, Joseph was brought from the prison. "I was standing on the banks of the river," the king told Joseph, "when I saw 7 fat cows walk out of the water. They were chewing happily on the grass when 7 other cows joined them. These cows were bony and thin, and instead of eating the grass, they ate the first 7 cows. But they stayed as skinny as ever. What can it mean?" God whispered in Joseph's ear. Joseph listened. Then he bowed and said, "Your Majesty, for the next 7 years, Egypt will grow many good crops and be as fat as those first cows. But after that, for another 7 years, hardly any food at all will grow. So unless you want your people to look like those skinny cows, you must store up food in the good years and use it wisely later." The king was so impressed with Joseph's answer that he not only let him stay out of prison, he put him in charge of storing and saving and serving out Egypt's food. 7 good years were followed by 7 bad. And after the king, Joseph became the most important man in Egypt. It was like a dream come true. One day, there was a knock at Joseph's door. And when he answered it, his 11 brothers were standing there. They bowed down before him, they kissed his feet, and they begged, "Kind sir, we have come to Egypt all the way from the land of Canaan. We have no food. We are starving. May we please buy some from you?" Joseph said nothing. He just stared at his brothers. He knew who they were, but they didn't recognize him. "All right," said Joseph in his sternest voice, "I will sell you food." And he ordered his servants to load his brother's animals. But that wasn't all he told them to do. "Take one of my silver cups," he said, "and hide it in the sack of food tied to the youngest lad's donkey." Joseph had a plan. He wanted to see if his brothers had changed. When Joseph's brothers reached the edge of the city, his servants stopped them and searched through their sacks. What did they find? The silver cup, of course. "We don't know how it got there," the brothers exclaimed to Joseph. "Your brother stole it, that's how," Joseph answered. "So he must stay here in Egypt and be my slave." "No, please," begged the brothers. "That would break our father's heart. Keep one of us instead." When Joseph heard that, he knew his brothers had changed. So he told them who he was right then and there. "I am Joseph," he announced, "your long-lost brother." This news did not make his brothers feel any better. They were so frightened, in fact, that they could hardly speak. "Don't be afraid," said Joseph. "I forgive you. You meant to hurt me, but God used what you did to save us all from this terrible famine. Now, go, fetch my father and the rest of our family to come and live in Egypt with me." The brothers looked up. The brothers grinned. The brothers cheered. And after a lot of hugging and helloing and handshaking, they set off for Canaan to tell Jacob the good news. And Joseph? Joseph just sat back on his throne and smiled and thanked God for making his dreams come true.